Hello guys. I know I haven't made a video in a long time. But I wrote another story and I wanted to read it to you guys. It's got two parts to it. It's called Peter Pan. Um, so I'm gonna read it. A little boy sat outside in the front yard of his house holding a stick in his hand. The boy examined the stick with awe. Smiling, the little boy stood up and swung the stick, causing it to make a swishing noise. Grinning with satisfaction, he took the stick and slid it through one of his belt loops to hold it to his side. Walking over to the shed on the edge of the woods, he opened the door and pulled out his bicycle. Walking beside his bike, holding onto the handlebars until he reached the road. Swinging his leg over the middle bar, he sat on his seat and kicked off. He pedaled quickly down the road, his shaggy brown hair blowing in the wind, hitting him gently on the face. The boy let out a yell of excitement as he forced his bike to go faster. A drainage pipe emitted from the side of the road right outside of the woods. A path of sand and pressed down grass led over a trail of sticks that made it easy to get over the stream the drain had made. Riding his bike off the road, he slowed down and crossed over the stream. Parking his bike next to a cluster of bushes, he put the kickstand down and walked into the woods. 5 or so trees stood close to each other, making a square shape. Rocks, logs, sticks, and large pieces of wood lay all over the ground. It looked like a mess. A green vine hung down from one of the trees, dangling down in front of one of the larger pieces of wood. The boy smiled and laughed as he swung the stick at tall grass that grew down the side of the stream. The stream moved slowly from the drain, past the dirt patch with the trees, through the forest and into the river. Kneeling down at the edge of the river bank, the little boy swung his stick at a patch of grass, causing a large bullfrog to jump from the grass and land in front of him. The frog croaked loudly, causing the boy to raise his stick in the air in defense. Giving full swings, he yelled at the frog to leave and threatened it with his stick. The frog croaked again and hopped off into the river. Proud of himself, the boy smiled and let out a laugh. Aha! Moments later, he heard leaves rustling on the other side of the stream. The little boy put his finger to his mouth and turned to his bike, as if he were telling it to be quiet. Turning back, the little boy crept slowly alongside the stream until he came up to a rock trail. The boy walked slowly and what? Yeah, balanced on each rock, being sure not to fall into the water. Once the boy got to the other side, he moved behind a bush and knelt down, holding his stick out in front of him. The rustling noise came closer and closer. Once it was close enough, he looked around the bush to see a large squirrel looking for acorns. Taking a deep breath, the boy yelled and jumped out from behind the bush, swinging his stick, scaring the squirrel off into a nearby tree. The little boy laughed as he watched the squirrel run off. I sure showed him, the little boy said as he looked over to his bike. Walking over the trail of rocks, the boy walked into the mess of wood and rocks. Sitting down on a log, he put the stick down next to him. 3 logs made a triangle shape along with a pile of rocks and twigs that sat in the middle. The little boy put his hands out in front of him as if he were warming his hands from a fire. The sky eventually started to get dark, which made the boy get up from his log seat. Walking over to his bike, he put up the kickstand and grabbed his handlebars tightly. He walked over the trail of sticks with his bike close to his side. Once he reached the other side of the stream, he walked his bike up the dirt path onto the road. Swinging his leg over the middle bar of his seat, he sat down of his bike. He sat down on the seat, grabbed the handlebars firmly, and kicked off. Pedaling back up the road to his house, he smiled to himself with satisfaction of his day. Coming up to his house, he rode his bike off the road and over to the shed. Opening the door of the shed, he placed his bike inside. Closing the door, he held onto his stick and walked inside his house. Okay, that is part 1 of my story. Part 2, I'm going to read next in a video, and then after I read that, I will explain the stories. So, okay.